Hey everyone, it's Lisa Sweeney here from Business in Heels, and it's my real pleasure to introduce to you a brand new ambassador to Business in Heels. Karin Aviles has over 15 years of experience in B2B, and she's agreed to be our very first USA ambassador. And let me tell you a little bit about her. So with the majority of her time spent leading marketing teams at Fortune 500 companies, she's recently left a corporate life and started 2 businesses on her own. Firstly, she started a consulting business where she helps clients embrace social selling and fill their funnels through digital lead generation strategies. The second, she started a life coaching business called Edit Your Life, where she helps women take back control of their lives and start living their full purpose. So welcome, Karin. Lovely to have you.
Thank you so much for having me, Lisa. It's great to be here. First of all, let me just say it is so great to be affiliated and be an ambassador for Business in Heels. I just love what you're doing to help women in their professional aspect of their life. It's just a wonderful thing, and I'm really excited to be a part of it. So I would say one of the greatest achievements that I've had was back in 2016. I had the amazing privilege and pleasure of serving as the first female chief of staff for an enterprise division of a very large telecommunications company. And it was very much so out of my comfort zone. So, here I was leading a marketing team, just going about my daily business when someone approached me and said, "Hey, we think you'd be really great in this role." And at first I was kind of like, who me? I almost didn't trust myself. And the more I explored it, I thought, wow, this is an amazing opportunity to really just live at the epicenter of the business. You're with the C-suite executives day in and day out and traveling together. And it was the best business education I could have ever had, just that front row seat to the C-suite. So there's a lot of candidates for roles like that. And the fact that I had the opportunity to do it was really amazing. And then personally, I would just say, I am so honored to be raising 2 beautiful, wonderful, smart boys who are incredibly patient with me and love me for who I am. Sometimes they have to remind me to, Mom, put your phone down. But it's been just amazing to watch them grow and to be a part of their lives. And I feel blessed to be their mom.
Nice, thank you. And Karin, tell us, because obviously you didn't get to that C-suite position just like that. What were some of the defining moments in your life?
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Well, I think the first defining moment in my life, actually, I was acting and waiting tables. I was living the dream after college and really going after what I wanted to do, which was always act in a soap opera. That was my dream. And so, I was in New York City and it was tough. We were living paycheck to paycheck. And at one point, I was like, I have to work all these shifts in order to pay my bills, but I can't go on auditions if I'm working these shifts. So how do I get the big acting jobs if I can't ever go to the auditions? So I had this great idea that I would go into corporate America, I'd work for a year, save every penny, and then I'd quit and just act full time. Well, I got my first commission check when I was selling Blackberries in New York City, and it had 4 numbers on it. And I just remember thinking like, wow, that's great. This is so much money. And I walked down to the nearest Coach store and I bought a purse and a scarf and an iPod holder. And the rest, as they say, is history. So I spent the next 15 years in B2B, and there were some other defining moments, like when I chose to leave the wireless side of the business and move to the wireline side so that I could learn, which really gave me the opportunity to even have that chief of staff role because I understood both sides of the business. But I think the biggest defining moment has actually happened over the course of the last 2 years. We had some deaths in the family at the end of 2018. And it really pushed me into a midlife crisis. So for those of you that are watching this thinking, you're too young, I am 40. And also I would love if society stopped telling people that they were too young or too old or too anything, but maybe that's wishful thinking. So I found myself really questioning my mortality and why am I here? And it cannot be to make PowerPoints and justify my existence to other people. It cannot be that. So I started to really do the inner work that needed to happen to remember what made me tick and what do I want to do with my life. And that's when I realized that corporate wasn't for me anymore. It hadn't been for me for a long time, but I just wasn't ready to admit it and face it. And I started writing a memoir, which is a bit of a women's tell-all comedic look at the mishaps and misadventures over the past 40 years of my life. And there was a fire again. There was this excitement in my belly every day. I would wake up and I couldn't wait to write another chapter. And, you know, the first change is the hardest change. But once I got my editor, then it was like, okay, now I'm going to make my website. Now I'm going to do this and do that. And all this change started to come exponentially to the point where I realized my true purpose in life was actually to go out and help other women follow their dreams and make that pivot in whatever direction they want to go in. Whether it's staying in corporate and climbing the corporate ladder, you know, being a stay-at-home mom and just finding joy in your life, or doing something like I did, leaving corporate and starting your own business. And so I'm really dedicating my life now to supporting other women and in my life coach business. So that was definitely a big defining moment.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I think many people have those pivotal moments and they just never quite know what to make of it. So very, very interesting. So Karin, for the other women listening to this, what sort of tips would you provide them? Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think one of my tips for aspiring leaders would be, or really anyone, don't take no for an answer. And that has been a theme throughout my career. I remember when I first told my boss that I wanted to be a trainer. And they said, well, you have to be in the company for a certain amount of time, and there's other people who have more tenure. And I was like, well, I want to be a trainer. And this company over here is hiring trainers. So I'm going to go over there. And that's what I did. You know, there were other times in my career where people said, I don't know if you're ready to lead a team yet. And I was like, well, I'm not going to take that answer. I'm going to go get myself into some courses with outside vendors and courses that were offered at the company. And next time a position comes open, I'm going to show them I'm serious about it because I have done all these things to put myself in a position where I'm ready to do that. So definitely just trust your gut. Don't take no for an answer. Try to find your own style. I see a lot of new leaders really try to emulate others, and sometimes that can work, but a lot of times it doesn't. So you really want to find your own style, and you won't know, right out of the gate, but try to make it your own and don't necessarily look at someone and go, oh, well, they're really tough on their people, so I'm going to do that, because it doesn't always work. And I think my last piece of advice would be have a really good mentor. Someone who you can go to that you trust. They could be in your business, but they don't have to be. They could be from a different company, but someone who can just give you an objective opinion and help you through sticky situations. I have had many mentors in my career, some formal, some informal, and they have always been the cornerstone of my success and really helping me to get through whatever challenges I was facing.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Karin, for sharing that. And we're so excited to have you on board as an ambassador. So watch out, everybody in the US and beyond. Karin's on board now. And we look forward to hearing more from you and your exciting memoirs in the future.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate it.